All right, welcome back. This is going to be a series of detailed videos on how to convert the 90mm Eflight Viper jet to a turbine. I promised these a while back. It's taken longer than what I wanted because I made some changes to the fuel tank, but the model's been flying great. I just got back from a turbine event in Southern Indiana, Fall Jet Classic. Was there for 5 days, used over 10 gallons of fuel, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you only burn, 30, 35 ounces per flight, it's some flying. I predicted about 45 flights or so. Worked great. Did it in front of our vice president JPO. Everything worked fine, and we won't exaggerate on that. It's flying really good. Let me show you the tank, the changes I made to the tank. The prototype worked fine. This was the existing tank that I used on my Avante, A4, and T45. It worked okay, but this was in one plane right here, and it was very tight with the hatch. This was a lot higher than I wanted, and I had some trouble with this, getting the spar through on the bottom. So what I did is, this is the redesigned production tank. This surface is moved aft a little bit. This surface is moved lower, and this surface here is moved forward. This holds 40 ounces. The prototype held 42. Won't be a problem. You still get 8.5 minutes, no problem. It's fine. I got a couple underway here, and just a reminder, if you have contacted me for parts, I have an exact detail list on who's getting what in the order that they were received. So just be patient with me. It's gonna really pay off for you guys to make a really easy conversion. And once I get these videos completed, which should be in about a week, I should be able to start shipping parts. So I got a couple underway here because I needed to develop some templates for the tank. This tank is installed in the fuselage right now. As you can see, it's a lot lower than this one. This surface is further aft, and the hatch is going to fit without having to do any cutting around the vent. It's going to work out great. It's exactly on the CG, and we're going to show you tonight how to install this tank and cut open the bottom of the fuselage. This one right here I used to develop my patterns, and basically this is what it will look like. As you can see, I use the carbon paper technique, and once you get full contact right there, you know the tank is fitting really nicely. So I got another one in works here. We're going to show you how to cut the bottom, and we're going to get a tank fitted hopefully in this video. So this is the model we're going to work on here. I already cut this out. I probably should have waited for you guys to show you how to do it, but the tray for the receiver needed to go away, so I just Dremel this. I use a carbide rotary file and a Dremel tool. I just run it right down there, kick it up, and it just pops right out, because these pieces they put in before they join the two halves together, and they got to go. They're in the way. I leave a little section up here to mount the pump on. When you do yours, you can take out as much as you want. But I just go in here and Dremel this out, run it down, watch out for the wires. And these pieces, they pop right out. Just like that, and they can pretty much go away. So let's go to the bottom of the fuselage here. And once again, a lot of people cringe on me taking structural integrity out of my models, like our Vice President JPO does not like, but I proved that these models, you're not hurting the structural integrity of these at all. So when you receive a turbine install kit from me, you're going to get these pieces of paper here that they look just like a bunch of chicken scratches, but we're going to show you how these are going to aid in removal of the foam, and it's going to go really, really quick. You'll get it on paper here. Just glue it to a cereal box or something, cut it out, and stiffen up the template so you can mark a line around it. The cutout we're going to do on the bottom, I have on this piece of paper also. It's, I need to mark forward on there. But it's 4 3/8 inches back here, measured off the center line, so it's 2 3/16 on each side of the center line. We're going to take this piece of foam here and eventually attach it to the EDF hatch. And what that does is that makes it a lot easier to get the engine in and out. The forwardmost cut is going to be 9 7/8, which is right there. And then the upper cut is going to be, the forward cut is going to be 5 inches, 2.5 inches off the center line. So I laid it out last night because just to save some time. So we're going to cut that. I use you buy these at Home Depot. Make sure you use these are perfect, they're the perfect length. Make sure you have a sharp blade in there. It makes all the difference in the world. And what we're going to do here is, I got the aft lines cut. You want to cut at an angle like this so it creates like a draft. So when you go to put this part back in, it just kind of drops right in and locks into place. If your cuts were angled out like that, you're not going to get it in. So just be in mind that you got to cut at this particular angle or close to it. All right, so we're going to cut up to the Eflight's got a little, it's like a socket for the forward spar. We're going to cut right up to that now. So just get it cut here, and I just freehand it, and it cuts really good. And you can go full depth. All right, so I hit that spar there, so I'm going to do the other side. You know, and if you'll run off a line a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Okay, hit the spar. Now, I used to cut the spar with a razor saw because that takes out minimal amount of foam. The problem is on that fiberglass tube, it dulls these really quick. So what I've been doing now is I just kind of shim the opening a little bit, create like a little wedge, and then I go in there with a really thin hacksaw blade. Once again, that knife that I just used didn't really take out any material, so it goes back together perfectly. This takes out a little bit of foam, but just in the area where the spar is. Okay, got that side done. We're going to go to this side. Razors, or the basically a razor blade saw. So then you want to kind of hold it at a little bit of an angle this way because we're going to put some draft in this cut also. All right, so now we're going to go down here full depth. You're not going to hurt anything. All right. Now we can't knock it out of there yet. There's some more cutting we got to do. So we're going to flip it back over, and we're going to be able to see where our cut stops. So I'm just going to put a little tick mark right there. And then a little, so I can see what's going on. All right. So we're going to go in there and cut this out. Just aim for the center here. It'll be fine. And then I want to cut, basically trying to hit that mark, or at least in the neighborhood. Go like that. Do the same on the other side. And then we're going to finish that up with a standard razor blade. Just like that. Okay. Finish up this side. Okay, so if everything went well, the bottom should pop up. Here we go. Beautimous. Okay, we're going to set this aside for now. While I'm thinking of it, we're going to go ahead and cut the hatch off here. Once again, you want to watch your angle. If you cut it like that, you're not going to get it in. So I want to put just a little bit of draft cut on there, and I'm just going to run down the line. And it's like that. There we go. Now this portion will glue onto the EDF hatch eventually. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to get the tank fitted in the model first, then we're going to worry about this. Okay, so what we got, oh, this has to go away first too, so let me chop that out of there. Once again, this is one of the parts that they have put in before they glue the halves together. So it just pops right out. This one's glued in a little better. And once again, if there's any questions that you want me to elaborate on or go into some more detail, just put a comment in the video and I'll address it. Little foam came up with that, but that's okay. All right, so this center piece here has to come out. So I take that down to the natural trim. You can see where the parts are joined together down there, so I'm just going to cut down to that. And once again, this is a rough cut because it's going to get trimmed some more. I'm going to do that on the other side here. Should be able to pop this together. I'll cut the back. Okay, that'll work. Now, I'll show you how we use these templates that I generated. Because there's still quite a bit of custom work you got to do, because that's got to fit in there. And let me grab a spar over here. And the whole idea is to get this tank to fit so that when the spar goes through, it's going to hit this real estate right in here. So as you can see, the tank's got to drop down and it's got to go forward a couple inches. And we're going to do that now. I didn't want to take the cut any further forward because it's like in a perfect spot right here. So when the wires go through for your ailerons, flaps, and gear, I mean, it's like the perfect spot for the cut. You just got to tweak it down in here. So we're going to go forward a couple inches and then down probably about another 3/4 from its location right here. And once again, the CG, I'm flying it with a very aft CG. It's pretty much right at this point right here on the wheel well. So, you know, the center of the tank, which is about here, you know, it's going to be right in line with that. It works out great. So let's show you how these templates work. Let's do the bottom here first. So what these do is it's going to aid in you trimming it rather than having to whittle on it for hours on end. It's going to give you pretty much a pattern to go by. So this template right here nestles into the slot on this board that I just cut out. Okay, just like that. So what we're going to do is center that up right on the spike. So center it pretty much right about there, and then we're going to draw a line if I have a good Sharpie. Okay, so we got that done. Done with that. And shoot, I lost it. Oh. Yeah, that'll show up. So now we got these two here. Let's do the hard one first. This one's kind of tough to mark a line on. So what this one does is it grips around the little inlet spike that they got there. And then I want to get a line on this side right there. So what I did last night on the one, yeah, it's tough to get in there and mark it. So I just went in there with a pencil like this. There we go. That's about what we're after. So we got to do that on both sides. Once again, we'll just grip it around the inlet spike. That'll work. And then we got, oh, I found my template. And we got, let me do this one first. This one goes down in here like this, okay? So, and then you kind of hold that over there. Let's try this. Okay, we got the idea there. I'm going to do that on the other side. And once again, you know, this just saves time on having to whittle for hours on end with the carbon paper. It gets you in the neighborhood. Okay. Now we got one more to do. And then this one, forward and up, it kind of nestles around that piece of foam down at the bottom. And then you want to draw that one. And we still got a piece of tape on there. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. So you really don't need to touch that surface right there. Let me get rid of this piece of tape. So now these really aren't cut lines. These, it's kind of like a tapered cut up here. Something like that. Okay, so now we can start, because what I want to do is, you know, I don't want to cut straight through here. I'm going to kind of scallop it. So from the other ones I started on this surface in here, and it worked pretty good. So if I see my line right there, I can pretty much cut to that line on this side. And I'm going to try to do this without slicing myself open on camera. And once again, you know, we can, if you want to stay away from the line, now you can a little bit. And, you know, I left it about, now 1/16 heavy. Same thing here. All right, we'll go with that. And then we'll kind of rough in the bottom. Something like that. That's in the ballpark. So now, all we got to really do, you can see the line in there. So I just want to kind of, I'm going to rough it out here. Once again, we're going to tweak it using the carbon paper technique. This is just saving a lot of time with the templates. And then let me get the other side. Okay, that's close. All right, so now we're gonna go in there with the carbon paper, and it's gonna take a little bit more whittling. How many minutes we up to?
27.
All right. So I'm gonna include a piece of carbon paper in the install kit because it's kind of hard to find nowadays. No one uses it. So, you know, once again, we really want to spar right about here, okay? So, you know, it's gonna, this is just a rough cut. It's gonna take some doing. So we put that in there like that. And then I kind of like to get the tank forward located and then work going down. That way my slot isn't opened up a lot on the aft upper part. So I'm gonna get the, you know, as you can see, we're still about, you know, 3/4 of an inch away. So I'm gonna see where it's hidden. And then I whittle some more. So see, we got good contact there. We'll take that chunk out there. Take some out there. A little bit here. All right. If I was really good with YouTube videos and editing, I'd fast forward through this part, but I'm not. So as you can see, we got some more black marks. I'm going to take them out. So, you know, if you got, you know, I'm kind of rushing through this, but if you got a lot of time on your hands, I mean, you can really make it perfect if you, you know, spend your time at it. And you can see, you know, let me grab the spar, but we're getting in the neighborhood. You know, we're getting close. So this is the 5th fuselage I've done this to, so you know, I'm getting pretty good at it, I think. You know, just like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But without these templates, and me whittling on it just little by little, I mean, it's an hour and a half job. And I'm gonna have it done in about 20 minutes. Let's see how we're doing. So once again, I'm trying to get the tank located forward first. It's getting there before I kind of tackle the upper side of the fuselage. And then while you're doing this, you want to kind of always make sure the tank is somewhat centered in the back here. I just kind of eyeball it on these slots here, and it's looking pretty good. You don't want the tank kicked one side or the other. So as you can see, you know, we're getting more and more black, which means that's good because we're coming almost in perfect contact in all the areas. And once I get it pretty close, I kind of final tweak it with sandpaper, which we're going to do pretty shortly. So once I'm pretty happy with the forward location, I'm going to start to attack the bottom or the top of the fuselage. Oh yeah, so we're really, really close. And see, the end location, you should have, I put a popsicle stick in there, and that kind of simulates the thickness of the tube that goes over here. So I'm pretty happy with the front end. So we're going to attack the bottom right now. And it's not going to need a whole lot. So as you can see, you know, we got really good contact right there. I might just work on this with some sandpaper. So on this, I just get some sandpaper wrapped around a pretty dense piece of foam that's still flexible and works out pretty good. I'll neaten that up a little bit when I have some time, but I think it's roughed in pretty close. Take the tank. Apply the spar through. You want like a popsicle stick thickness when you glue it in. See that right there? That's going to be perfect. So I'm really happy with this location that it's at right now. If you look down the inlet, I mean, it bears in pretty nice. Okay, look down the top. I mean, everything's matching up really, really nice. I'm happy with that. It's low enough to where when I put my hatch on, the tube here, or the vent tube's not going to interfere with that. Plenty of room to get your wiring through up here. So when it's all said and done, it should have, you know, just a little bit more than a popsicle stick thickness right there. Look through the back. I mean, it streamlines very well in the inlet, creating minimal drag. And I'm not gonna do it right now. We're probably gonna do it tomorrow or on the next video. What I like to do is I like to bond this tank in after the clunk line's in, which we're gonna go through that, and after it's pressure checked. I pressure check these tanks before they leave. I recommend you doing it again before you bond it in the model, because it's going to be a really bad day when you start to fill it up and there is a leak somewhere after the tank is bonded in the model. I don't want a phone call about that one. So right now I'm happy with the location. Spar fits good. The next video after the tank is bonded in, we need to get this piece to fit down in this real estate, and the spars will self-locate it. Let me show you on the one that I've already done. So, and I want to bond this tank in and have it really hard mounted before I start to fit the bottom of the fuselage here, because I don't want that tank moving around messing me up. So this one I did this morning. Take it over here. And you know, I'm gonna do it. I'm not rushing you through here. I just want to kind of give you a heads up of what this is gonna look like. So we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna make it look like that. And I really don't have a template for this. It's just pretty much a trial and error. There's no real way for me to make a template because everybody's tank might be in a little bit different location. But as you can see, you know, there's quite a bit of material to remove. We're gonna rough cut it to like 3/8 of an inch there to get the bulk away. But I mean, it fits perfect. And the spars, when you glue the spars or glue this piece back in, the spars are gonna pretty much self-locate this thing. I mean, it like doesn't get any easier than that. And when you look through there, the tank, I mean, the piece molds to the tank perfectly. Once it's all bonded together, it ain't going nowhere. It's creating some more structural integrity than the model originally had, which will probably make the vice president at JPO really happy. So, the next video, we're gonna bond the tank in that other model that we just did. We're gonna show you how to pressure check the tank, and we're probably gonna mount the tabs on the tailpipe here. Because I sent these tailpipes out without the mounting flanges on. So we're gonna mount the flanges on this. We're gonna get the tank bonded in, and then if we have time, we're gonna start the wheels and brakes. All right, thanks for watching me. It should be about another day, and you should have the next video. Bye.